dog groomer is one of them. Coffee shop. Tattoo parlor, okay? Restaurants, of course, okay?
Hardware store,
Hardware store is
number
in
one,
there.
but go ahead.
A smoke shop.
On the
We
outskirts.
just had this conversation last night, a smoke shop, okay? And I want to say it also had vape shop. Now, we
On the
got, we
outskirts.
got panic stricken, okay? We had a tattoo place.
He
Okay?
left?
He left,
He
yeah.
left.
Now,
I thought so.
he was very successful, to my knowledge. He just went to a bigger area. That's what he said to me, but maybe he was just being nice. We have a dog groomer right in town. So we have walkability.
But we need walkability where people are walking to
Yes.
browse
Yes.
through. I'm
You
gonna
know,
walk through the
the-
village, but I'm only gonna stop at What a Girl
Correct.
Wants or You.
That's not true. That's not true. We need walkability so that people that all live throughout this, that all those neighborhoods that were built, they'll come and stroll their kid down. They don't need to feel like they have to buy something.
Yeah.
They need to feel like
All
they're
right, so,
safe.
okay, then, all right, I'm misinterpreting. I'm totally on a different page then. I'm looking for walkability as drawing in businesses where we have a Cornwall, where you have a little
but
antique
think
shop,
of
a
it this
little.
way. So think of it this way. I'm just backing you up one step, okay? So if you have an area that people so from a business perspective, I look at Washingtonville, I see a huge market. There are condos, there are houses, look at all these developments that are all walkable to my store, actually, right? So if these people spend their time not in a car driving to a park, not in a car, their habits change, and they start, then all of a sudden, businesses want to come. They only come where the people are.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, all right.
So chicken and
we
the
were on
egg is
two
a
different
perfect example.
walkabilities.
Chicken and the egg, Vanessa said out loud, the reason why they ended up there, because I never understood why they put that place in there and then built that kitchen. She said that during placemaking, when we had the lot going, she couldn't believe all the people that were in this village.
Yes.
And that's why they invested all that money in here, and guess what happened? Nobody came.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
her
we need
story-
walkability.
her story-
So we just can't pick it up in the middle.
Her story was, we looked at the various communities,
Mhm.
and the village here was the only one that had umbrellas and seating outside. And they said, that's where we need to go. I don't think they wanted to be in the business. They didn't realize how tough that business was.
But she dropped $150,000 on a kitchen
Oh, yeah.
based on it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And let me tell you something,
Yes.
if that business worked for them and it wasn't such a struggle, they'd be there.
Yep.
Right.
You know, so that's
Right.
really, and we saw a renaissance within the village, okay, with the lot, okay, and then putting tables outside and inviting people into the village that way. How many people, I've met several people when the lot was, the first year, no idea what the village of Washingtonville was, just coming through.
It was great.
For those two state highways,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so it was beneficial
Right,
that time.
right.
But we have a lot of the nucleus here as far as merchants are concerned. The specialty shop would be Martelli's Soccer Shop. People come from all over the place to go to Martelli's. That's like a staple.
I lived in
The
Goshen,
can, the
7
candle
miles
store.
away, came to Washingtonville twice, Brotherhood and Martelli's,
You know,
before I bought a store here.
you mentioned the Brotherhood. They have wine buses that come up here from wherever, but they just go to the winery, then they get in there, back on the bus, and they go home. We need to
We
bring
do
them.
get a lot of tours at the Hook, I have to say, from the winery.
Okay,
We do get, I mean, unfortunately, because of COVID and the maximum amount of
yeah.
people.
I mean, I think that the whole world has turned
Right,
upside
yeah.
down.
but pre-COVID, we had bus
Yeah.
tours, and they would schedule luncheons, and there would be 15, 20, 25 people that would come in. I think businesses also have to do a little bit of, like you did, reinventing themselves, you know, with deliveries, with going out there and repurposing themselves or whatever to change. Because really, the bedroom community it's not that people are now going to work and sleeping only at home.
No, yeah, and that's
They're
what.
working and
that's what-
sleeping at
yeah,
home.
yeah.
They're working
Yeah,
and
it
sleeping
changed,
at
the
home.
whole thing has changed.
You're gonna see New York
Yes.
City
Which is,
a whole different place
But
because
let-
people they are realizing they don't have to rent.
but
$20,000
remember,
a
Maureen,
month.
they don't have to stay here either. They
No,
don't have to be in
you're
driving
right.
distance to New York.
But
I
this
think-
is the furthest
Yeah.
point up that police and firefighters can go, which is why we have such a high.
Which is why we're a bedroom community.
Exactly.
But we gotta remember that the
Right.
times are changing, choices are, you
You're
know,
right.
options are more.
You're right.
I think if we all take a step back 4 years ago, moving forward, what has this village become? I mean, we had fireworks, movies in the park, never happened before. And I can't tell, I lived up here 31 years, and I thought I would know a lot of faces. And there were some faces in the park during the movie, I had no idea who they were, because they didn't live here, but they came here. Okay? If they keep coming here, why do we have to travel? Why don't we just buy here? And that's where I think you're going with
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying. All right? We have a great opportunity here. Okay? We started to capitalize on it, and then we stopped. We need to continue now with it. Carefully, but we need to continue.
And we really have to think big, really, about everybody, what we really need. I mean, it's gotta be, you know, cradle to grave. We have to take care of everybody. Because if not, if any of those needs aren't being met, people will go other
People will leave,
places.
yes.
And this is, you know, like, we get a lot, you know, how do we get money? How do we get police on the street? How do we get our streets cleaned? How do we do all that? It's all from property tax. People buy here. They agree to a price for what they think they're gonna get. If they're not getting it, they leave.
We're in the what, 3/4 of the way through with the police reform, right? More than
Yeah.
that?
We're almost
Okay.
done, yeah.
It's great.
You know, what could the police do differently than what they're doing now? The answer is nothing,
Right.
Well,
okay? They're well-respected throughout the community, okay? Walkability, they need to
Feet on the street.
walk,
Feet on the
okay?
street.
And they do.
They actually do that.
They do.
yeah.
No, they're
I
great.
see
Frank,
them.
yeah, we had
Yeah.
Jax the other day,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Except for
Um,
the really freezing cold rainy days, which I
Yeah,
can't
you know,
understand,
but-
but I
but-
see them all the time.
You know, when you really sit down and you analyze what the police department does, it's probably half of what we think they do,
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
okay? So that was an issue all by itself. I think that was the toughest issue we had, because it came down from Albany that we need to have police reform. Maybe in Albany you do, and maybe in the next town over, but you certainly don't need one here.
Right.
But you have to do what you need, because they tied it with grants for the police department. We got a good nucleus, we got excellent DPW, okay? They keep the village clean, and because, you know, they care too, all right? Getting back to the police department, one of the, I think 14 out of 24 officers, police officers live
In the village.
Mhm.
School district.
It's great.
in the school
district,
district.
right,
7
right.
actually live within the village.
It's great.
It's great. It doesn't get
That's
better
what
than
you
that,
want. That's what you want, yeah.
you know? So we are heading in the right direction. Are we moving as fast as we could? Probably we can move a little bit faster. This set us back a little bit. Okay, we get it. But now it's time to all just get together and look at our zones, look at our, again, what do we want to see here? Not only tomorrow, 20 years from now. Looking at home occupations there, we have beauty parlors, barbershops, hairdressing. We've got a lot of them, okay? No one should ever walk around with long hair. Or, as Rich is rubbing his hair, don't rub it that fast, you're going to set
Yeah,
yourself on
probably.
fire.
He supports everybody. To the point where he can now support nobody.
And there's what I was looking for before, home professional office. The dentist, the surgeon, that worries me a little bit. Surgeon working out of the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, boy, we can look at all that a little differently today, can't
Yeah.
Funeral home.
Yeah,
we? Right?
well, you need a funeral.
I know.
Embalming in their house?
Uh,
I know, I'm adding to your joke.
Involving in the basement.
It's the basement.
So, getting back to how we started this, it's based from this, coming up with this, and again, nothing is in stone.
You just had to start.
Yeah, we needed a place to start, and this is where we
Yeah,
started.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
And we had some great input along the way. You know, looking at these, you know, and I know that we put the
Coordinates?
The boundaries.
the boundaries, maybe we turn these into actual pictures, so we know exactly where.
Yeah, that helped.
Or at least maybe name, you know, put a few markers, like T&M, you know.
Well, the street address is there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but, I don't know.
but actually turn
Yeah.
that street address into that building that's over.
Yeah, just one name, like one landmark. So how much these are deemed
Just also, just to jump around, going back to the business thing, which we discussed, we haven't done anything or
to? Okay.
marked it out, is the industrial area that we have in this village is very small. That's also something that I'm strong for, is to expand the industrial area back in that area.
Dylan's
Is that-
area back there?
Because that brings in clean industry, which pays good taxes, and you don't have to burden on the school district and kids and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
And I know one of the items we threw back there was possibly doing something there, making the industrial area a little bigger back there.
Yeah, there's some towns that they want to go the other route by putting over 55s homes in there. The problem with, and that's great, I think
Where would that be?
there's a lot of people, they're not over 55. I got belts that are older than both of them. I do, sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I know, right?
What's a belt? I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
I got a Betamax that's older than you. What's a Betamax?
I have a Texas Instruments.
I had
I
one.
love that movie.
Texas Instruments. I have
Oh,
Texas.
Yeah, Atari game,
Yeah.
asteroid.
I already know that.
Anyway, what was I getting at?
I'm gonna throw
Okay.
shade at you, Commodore 64.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Remember when
Slow down.
it was called Macintosh? before it was
Macintosh,
called
yes.
Remember the handheld football game?
Yeah.
I did 33 records.
There you go,
I
right.
just got an
Or the
album.
45, what do you call those things?
They're
you
actually
put in the
selling
mail?
them again.
Yes,
On the
I have
45.
all my.
Were they real
albums,
fast,
so it's
78?
nice to have them all.
They're like at Barnes and Noble
Yeah.
and they have, you know.
Yeah.
What did you put in the middle of the 45?
Oh, the
It
little,
was like a little yellow thing with.
Yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
read, yeah, it's a little plastic tab,
I
yeah,
have some here somewhere.
yeah,
And if you lost it, it was kind of upsetting.
yeah, you had to try to,
Yeah.
So I lost my train of thought.
we were.
You watched me at, we were
I lost
talking
you at the
55-year-old belts.
No,
We're
we're-
talking
Yeah, you
about-
said other towns are trying to
Over
do
55.
55.
Over 55, okay. What happens with that is they probably vote no on school budgets,
Mhm.
okay? Without our schools, we go right down the tubes, okay?
What
Our
school?
schools,
What is school?
yeah,
I don't know what that
it's up and coming,
Oh, right.
yeah, it's up and coming.
It's a new thing.
But, and like I said, Washingtonville has a great school district. People move here, you mentioned it before,
Schools raise the value
because
of
of
a home.
schools,
Yes.
okay? And then unfortunately, they pack up and they leave after their children are out of the school.
Right.
But some of them are coming back.
But we need to also take care of our seniors.
Oh,
So they
absolutely,
will-
yeah, absolutely. You know, but we have a mix of everything,
Mhm,
you know, so.
mhm, Absolutely.
I think we're very fortunate in the village of Washingtonville.
Mhm.
We just hit a speed bump right
Listen, on paper,
Pothole.
Washingtonville's like a home run,
I
but.
know. But again, moving forward, and without my glasses, like we have mixed-use residential. I think, did we keep all of the zones, or did we?
So far, we kept them all.
Okay, so far, but
We
we
didn't
were
eliminate
looking
any.
at eliminating some.
Is this like a regular meeting? Like,
It-
is this gonna be instituted in a, can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Can we take a look, I understand, like, let's work on the exceptions, let's, vacate, but can we take a step back and look at a master plan and decide what we want it to look like instead of, like, just going in and grabbing at pieces? Because I really do, we think we need to look at the fact that there's 12 zones here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
so,
We're-
I mean,
we're
is
at
that what?
ground- We're at, I don't want to use the word ground zero. We're
Right.
at the bottom,
Okay,
okay?
okay,
Well, I have everything printed out from 2018, the plan that was discussed from back then.
That's the one I presented.
Right, I printed it all out, and
Wow,
I think
I
that,
didn't even print it out.
I have it all nicely printed out.
Joe threw it out, I'm joking.
No, you
And
have,
I think I put in their businesses.
you did, you have accessory uses, there's, and it's basically what you're talking about, Corinne, a master, comparisons between office, residential zone, commercial business, office, and accessory uses, lot and yard requirements, height. The only issue that I have is that, and I'm not trying to be, I am not a hysterical person by any means, we need to move quickly on some zoning issues. We really do. We need to tighten them up. We need to concentrate on certain uses, allowances, variances, because we're moving very quickly
Yeah,
on
we
in
needed to do
zoning.
it years ago, but we've got to step it up our game, so.
Yes, absolutely, and I'm not saying waste time, a master plan has to be parallel with zoning, but zoning has to be on the forefront of tightening it up quite a bit. It's making it very difficult for us to keep it how everybody here is talking the way
yeah,
you
but
want
I
it.
still think that you're spinning your wheels for another 10 years doing that. I say, get rid of the
No,
exception, listen, if they own the property, they own the property, you're going after, we have to build what we want. We have to allow to be built what we want.
I'm not talking about anything, has nothing to do with what I think you're talking about. My issue is the property on North Street. That is wetlands, that is marshland. You are talking about impact, and this is the problem, it's not really zoning necessarily. All of the neighboring properties that abut behind and the sides are going to be greatly impacted, and it's really more of a planning issue than zoning issue.
Okay,
But to allow that much property to be built upon is going to greatly impact water-wise. It's the same thing as the mood over here. I mean, I don't know if anybody was here in 2011, but we were literally separated from the rest of the world. You could not get in here.
Right.
The firehouse never flooded before, had 3 feet of water.
Right.
These are considerations that, and unfortunately, it's more planning, as I said, than zoning. So when these applications come to planning, I think that the requirements have to be tightened up. But this, North Street there's a serious marshland, wetland problem.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's different, I mean, that's not,
That's what I'm not talking about.
okay, so,
A
yeah, but
certain-
that's totally
if
different.
you own
but-
your
no, but
property-
What concerned me was that you said we need to, the master plan, everything has to start with the master plan. And then I understand, like, if we've got a wetland issue, we gotta take care of a wetland issue.
Right.
But we can't start switching zones for a wetland
I'm
issue
not
to
looking-
then
no,
go back
no,
to a
no, no,
master
no,
I
plan.
know what she
don't
means,
think
can I
yes.
No,
say something?
okay.
No.
I think what she means is that what they're proposing for North Street is going to greatly impact that entrance to Washingtonville. That side coming from Taft towards the main area of town,
Right,
is people from Newburgh come from there. It's a main traffic area of people from other towns coming into Washingtonville.
right.
If they're coming in and they're seeing that, they're turning around and going right back out the other direction. And it's not just because of the wetland, but proposing to have 8 townhouses built right there across
Yeah,
the
it's
street from
also-
Brotherhood, that's going to greatly impact the entire
But, you know, here's,
main area in the village.
Totally get it,
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah.
and here's what the village has done the past 4 years. We've invested in our infrastructure. Our infrastructure was collapsing, okay? You can't build on a bad foundation. The infrastructure is our foundation. So
Right.
we are moving, okay? We are prepared for, you know, like I heard the sewer problems, okay?
There's not really problems, we
It's
just don't know
probably
what
just
to
a need,
expect.
it
Right.
just needs to be maintained.
We don't know what to expect, right?
Okay, but we created a good foundation as far as the village was concerned. We still have to pay for that, okay? That's another issue, okay? But it was a $13 million wastewater plant, all right, that was needed, okay? And we started to work out. All our pump stations are up and running now, all right? We invested money in there. So we have a good foundation. Now let's build on it. All right? And if we have to go back and repair a little bit of the foundation, that's fine. But now it's time to build.
Right, and that would include a master plan, exactly what you're
Yes.
saying.
No,
And
I don't think
like I
anyone
said-
is in this,
No,
is in.
no, we're not-
is
I got a
in-
little
No one's
concerned where it
disagreeing.
sounded
No,
like it
no,
was
no,
an
I'm not
accessory
disagreeing.
luxury.
I think it's the same, I think
It's-
everyone.
I said
it's-
parallel, it has to be
Right.
done parallel
Across the board.
with.
Yeah, like
zoning.
it's, they're two separate, the master plan should be started now and continue going.
Yes.
Period.
Yes, absolutely.
And then whatever's on the table has to be dealt with
Right.
what we got.
Right,
You know, the one thing that it might sound foolish, might sound silly, what's our vision,
That's what I
Of
want.
Washingtonville?
Yeah,
That's
okay?
the point.
Now you have a vision and you have a mission. Mission statement should be changed constantly, but the vision always remains the same. And we don't have a vision, to my knowledge. Okay? That's really the first thing. That's the front page of that comprehensive plan. What's the vision of the village of Washington? Where do we see us?
Right.
The
So if
mission is-
townhomes don't work,
Right.
they
The
don't
mission
work.
is the little
That's the point.
puzzle
Yes,
pieces
ma'am.
that get you to the vision. That's why they're constantly changing.
yeah,
right.
yeah, that's gonna.
So that's your homework. Between now and next Monday, I think is the next meeting.
Are they on a set day or?
Monday, I'll send you the list.
Yeah.
The-
They're
we have
all at
about
1
10
o'clock,
designs,
you know,
Or
because
eight,
it's,
8th, 11th, and 12th of next week. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's easy for me to say
Yeah.
that a number. 'cause-
1 o'clock.
1.
Okay, so come up with a vision and some ideas and,
yeah,
What we
and,
wanna
you
say.
know, and people that aren't here today, you know, I know that residents who are on Zoom, just because you're not here doesn't mean you don't care.
of
No, well,
course.
people are
Oh,
working,
of
we know
course.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We're just
So
concerned with
pick
this.
their brains.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay?
Right.
Maybe we set something up, you know, email the village hall with thoughts. And somehow we could somehow incorporate them,
well,
you know.
yes,
But I was
say
always,
like
and I've heard
CTY.
this
I mean, CTY message.
so many,
But anybody have any?
for so many years, if you're not at the meeting, you don't
Email.
care. No, that's not true. You're not at the
Okay.
meeting because you have a baseball game you have to take your child to.
Right.
or something.
Oh, yeah,
Business
of
you gotta
course.
keep afloat.
Of course.
But I think we have a,
So you
People
guys
will
want to
start to
start with
care.
that first and then this, or both
well, I
at the
think,
same time?
I think it
I
has to
think they
be-
both, I mean, I.
They work
I-
with
Because
I-
I'm
one another.
worried for the same reasons you just
So,
talked.
but, no, but now let's
You know?
talk about that. I mean, that's what I'm saying, we can still talk about this,
Yes.
but,
Right.
but the master plan, it has to happen
I think you
yesterday.
misunderstood, but
Absolutely.
I
I,
did, and I very well
yeah,
could have.
I think you misunderstood, because
The way
I
it
said
was
that
said,
they really
it
should be
concerned
worked
me.
on parallel. But we really need to we need to concentrate on both, but we need to do it
I think
We'll do it, not talk
everyone
about
is,
it.
We
Do it.
have
But-
master
but-
plan people,
Right.
everyone's on the
others-
same
have
page.
zoning
Everyone's
regulations.
Right.
talking about the same thing, it's just
Right.
different language.
Right,
Right.
We're
right,
all taking different roads.
right,
How do we get to
to
where
the
we need to
same,
get
we're
to?
all going to the same
So-
end of the road, we just need to
Right.
know.
think about
best
businesses
way to get
for a
there.
second. Brotherhood Winery is a business. Do you think, they have weddings on the lawn. I watch them from my kitchen,
Mhm.
from my living room. Do you think that that business is gonna keep having those weddings there if there are 8 townhouses directly across the street? With
Yeah,
with their
but
yellow,
let's
with
not.
their tiny
yeah.
yellow
But
Volkswagen.
we
But
have to
let's
be
not-
very careful with
yeah.
the fear mongering
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
We have to be
that-
very careful
that's
with
not-
this. This
You know,
is,
now,
It-
4 years ago, three and a half years ago, I was approached by a helicopter company
Yeah.
that
Right.
wanted to fly
Land
people
over
up.
there.
I
Right,
think they go to Warwick, I'm not sure. I don't even know if they're still in business, but I sat down with
sure they are.
the president
Right.
of the winery, let's do it. The helicopter company backed up. Okay? And they were gonna land on the great lawn of the winery.
Santa Claus was gonna come that way too or something, yeah, I remember, this was years ago,
If
yeah.
we want it on Zoom.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
What's that?
There's no Santa.
My kids already know that. I'm mean. I'm
Did
mean.
you
Mom.
told them?
Claus was gonna come and, yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so many,
So,
you know, just to get off, we light a Christmas tree in the center of the village. Brotherhood Winery lights their Christmas tree, which is very nice. I don't know if you ever seen it.
Oh, yeah, it's
Okay,
beautiful.
it's beautiful. First year, it was gonna be the same night.
why would you start me on the tree? Why would you start me on the tree?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sat down with the winery, we'll do it the next time.
Right.
You do yours.
There should be a master calendar too, talking about master plans. There should be, because there are too many things that overlap, and I know we're getting away from zoning, but
Well, zoning should overlap.
right,
Some things.
no, but I'm just saying, you know, we really do need, with the library, with the school, with
Oh,
the
yeah.
village, with the whatever, an up-to-date, kept up-to-date calendar of what's going on when and where.
Yeah, true.
Because there's too many things that you do want to go to everything,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, but a master plan makes zoning easier
Easier.
to
oh,
enforce.
absolutely.
So what's the deal with what, so last night, right, Nickel Street? So they want to build too close, right?
No, they
have
don't
this
want to
set?
build, they
They're
don't
not
want to
building
build.
anything. They just wanna know what.
Oh,
zone
Nickel,
they're-
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of North Street.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
North
I think, you know,
North
my
Street,
opinion,
yeah.
I think we need to get away from addresses.
Yes, I think, yeah.
Okay, let's not get bogged down over an application, okay? Because it's just gonna fog our vision,
Right,
all right? I think
Right.
we just go with,
right.
Fine.
with what we wanna see this.
We just, as zoning,
Mhm.
we need more
Tighter.
black lines
Yes.
Yep.
to go by.
Yes.
We
Absolutely.
need more, so that we are not going,
Mhm.
pulling from R100 to,
Yes.
So let's
Absolutely.
let's declare
You know,
that, or, you
One
know,
Right.
one of
declare
the
that.
things that
You're
came
sticking
up,
to the
and
zones.
right,
Valerie and I had met with two people, one for zoning, one for planning. They gotta marry,
right.
Yes.
okay? And we have this
So,
feeling, I can't talk to that other
We
board.
need to have
No,
a
that's not
public
true.
meeting
You
for
can talk to
planning
the
and
other
zoning.
board.
Well, I think
Because-
planning is very important.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the things that we discussed even last night have nothing to do with zoning.
Right.
They're more concerns,
so I
a lot of them
think,
concerns with
I think
planning.
one
Yes.
of the,
We need to have a public
one
meeting.
of our goals
Together.
should be that
Marry those two,
those two have to be married,
Of
yes,
course.
yes.
okay?
We
And
work
there's
hand
no-
in
That is
hand.
part of the
And-
master
right.
plan, I
Yeah.
think,
You
to
know,
me.
I
Well,
mean-
zoning upholds the vision, period.
Yeah.
Planning is the
Right.
vision.
Right,
Planning
exactly.
is the way to
Right.
get to the
Exactly.
vision.
Right, but they shouldn't, some of the issues shouldn't get to planning.
Because it should.
Shouldn't get to zoning,
Right,
rather.
because it
Shouldn't get to
need to be
zoning.
upheld.
They
It
should be, right, they
correct.
should be taken care of in the
Correct.
planning stage.
Yeah.
Correct.
So this is something that,
Right.
I don't know if it's a resolution, I don't think it's that detailed. Planning and zoning have to have a meeting in here to discuss what's going on.
Yeah.
As long as they're public,
It has to be
Right.
public, right.
they have to
Right.
be announced,
Right,
and everyone is good.
I would love to pick their brains and sit down.
Yes, it's
Right.
it's
And also
important.
voice my own concerns, you
Yes.
know, as a resident.
But it never happened before. It was always like, I can't talk to that board.
I know.
No, you can. You just have to follow the
I always did.
Protocol.
the proper, but not formally.
There's not a legal, no, not
No,
formally,
no, I
no,
don't
not
think-
formally,
no,
not
no.
formally, no. We've never met
Right.
formally.
But it needs to be met formally. We're all, everyone on the boards,
Right,
okay? And when we were struggling to find people for the boards, our attorney says, maybe you gotta reach outside. You can reach outside the boundaries of the village.
if you can't find anybody,
Okay.
right.
No, because
That's not the point.
they don't care. I shouldn't say they don't care.
They don't have the vested interest.
They don't have a vested interest in here.
Right.
So everyone on the boards, okay, working in the village hall, have a vested interest in what's going on. So again, we are heading in the right direction, okay? Sometimes at night I say, okay, we took 2 steps up, but we took 4 steps back. You know, let's just keep moving forward. And we are gonna have some of those bumps, speed bumps. That's just part of the business, I guess.
Just one more thing before we close, if we're heading in that direction. Last night was very, very difficult.
It was horrible.
It was awful.
Well, I'm
I
trying
went
to
to
be,
sleep.
I'm trying to be nice, but I do have a concern if any decisions are made, yay or nay, that we are leaving ourselves open because of the inability for the members of the board on Zoom to see maps, to see, you know, we can print them out on our computer, but they're this big and you can't
Yeah.
read them, you can't see them. And if there's ever a decision made where votes are taken, the applicant can come back and say that those people were really not given all the information, they didn't hear properly, they
Right.
didn't, whatever, and I am concerned about that. I really am.
Well, I think what happened last night, and again, I don't want to fog anyone's picture here. Nothing happened last
Right,
Exactly,
night, okay?
right.
But we learned a lot.
yes.
I know I learned a lot, okay? And we are making, the village board is determined to make the changes that have to be made, okay?
Right.
It will, last night will never, ever, ever happen again.
So what do you mean by that? I mean,
Well, we had Zoom going down, we had this.
right, like, would it,
you know,
so would it be
One
something?
of the things that we will be implementing, you have a developer or person coming in, bring your laptop, bring your wire, use the projector.
So, yeah, like if there, I mean, because I think
Exactly.
today you have to offer Zoom, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm assuming,
yeah.
but could it be
Yes.
done on that screen, whereas,
Oh, I don't know.
You know,
if we
I
can
didn't
do that on
know.
screen. Can we-
Yes, it can be done on that screen.
yeah, I mean, I
Yes.
think it was
That's another thing,
the
some-
volume and,
But as far, right, as
and
far
agreed
as
with you.
Oh,
agreed.
members
No,
voting
you
and
see,
everything,
here's
it's
the
a
thing.
concern.
The host of last night's meeting was the attorney.
Right, it was not it
He
came,
needs to get a paid account also, so that it doesn't
He
cut
has to
out
upgrade
35
his
minutes.
These are what
right,
are, you know, if you
Right.
I
can't,
happened to look over, if I hadn't caught that,
if
he
you
would
can't
have kept
meet
going
these requirements,
with nobody on Zoom.
So-
talk to us when